Well, Arthur Fery, the great British hope at Wimbledon, he beat the ninth seed, the Italian Flavio Cobolli, in the quarterfinals on Wednesday in straight sets. They call him cross-channel Fery because he was born in Paris. He's got a semi-final now against second seed and the recent French Open champion, Alexander Zverev. I mean, the way he's going, he might even win it. So let's talk about this extraordinary phenomenon to TalkSPORT commentator Rupert Bell. Welcome, Rupert.
Good evening, Kevin. Yeah, it is an extraordinary story. As you mentioned before the break, you know, we had 10 Brits knocked out on the first day, doom and gloom. And then Fery pops up as one of a few Brits who get in his first round match. And then he's just exceeded all expectation. And I have to say, and it's actually been quite good because there's obviously been a football event going on. So he's actually spent most of the time under the radar.
Yes.
But actually, with the fact that England haven't now played since Sunday, and it's been quite a long time before our next game, his exploits have now catapulted him into the sort of forefront of the sort of sporting media landscape, and thoroughly deserved it is too, because he's put out Dimitrov, no slouch, as you mentioned, the number 9 seed, who he'd beaten early in the year in the Australian Open.
But he thrashed him yesterday, didn't he? Thrashed him. I mean, 6-love in the third set, straight sets victory.
Well, that was the extraordinary thing, because his last 2 matches, if my memory serves me correctly, were hard-fought.
5-set thrillers, yeah.
Five-set thrillers. That one against Dimitrov, you know, he broke Dimitrov's spirit. But the other thing is, you've got to remember, he's only 5'9", and having been at Wimbledon over the last, you know, 40, you see these basically giants walking round. Big, booming, athletic, tall.
They're huge, aren't they? The big, yeah. the main players. Well, let me tell you this, Rupert. I've heard tell. I was listening to an interview earlier today on another channel, and somebody said, "Well, of course, Arthur Fery, he's only 5'9", and the guy said, he goes, "Yeah, I've known him for years. He's 5'9" if he stands on a box." I think he might be a little bit more diminutive even than he makes out, which is, as you say, certainly bucks the trend of these virtual giants that tend to dominate the game these days.
Absolutely, but there's always been a sort of, people have known about his ability. He's got to I think, deep into the boys' doubles championship a few years back. He went off to Stanford University. And look, he's been living in this country since the age of 3, a stone's throw from Wimbledon. And if you hear him speak, he sounds, you know, more British than Tim Henman sounded. Yeah. So, I mean, he is Britain is his home. And then there's also people been having a pop that he's the son of a billionaire.
It's good. Well, why not? What's wrong with that?
And why not? Well, but they shouldn't be criticising, because it doesn't matter. You've still got to work your butt off to get to where he's got to. So it actually, you know, he may be born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but actually, just like Tim Hinman, the insatiable desire to win. Now, Zverev he's come into Wimbledon on the back of his first major championship, and he's strutting his stuff. He was always being asked, when are you going to finally win one? Well, he did. And he's got history on his agenda too, because he could be the first person to do what they call the cross-channel derby when you've won your first major, and then he goes and wins his first Wimbledon. So Zverev is a much more confident player. So for Fery, if he beats him, oh my goodness me, because he's now ranked in the top 40 in the world by the provisional rankings. He's British number 1, Fery. Now, whatever the outcome tomorrow, it's been an amazing 10 days for him.
His mother, Olivia, a French woman, obviously, is a former professional tennis player. So you can see where he gets it from. And as you say, his wealthy hedge fund manager, Father Louis, is so rich he once bought a top-flight French football club. He's got quite a sporting background.
Exactly, but what you've actually got to see, he's got the heart of an ox. Because if you're 5'9" and you see some of his ability to retrieve, that's what's setting him apart. There have been good small players. Diego Schwartzman from Argentina springs to mind. But what he's doing, to be only the second wild card, now Goran Ivanisevic, you'd probably say, well, that's not a surprise that he actually got to the semi-final. He then went on to win it in a beating Pat Rafter. But Fery's exploits, you know, you can liken them almost to Emma Raducanu's brilliant run to winning the US Open. So if it comes to a grinding halt tomorrow, no one should be hard on him, because what he's done and the way he's played, he's now, what, 24 on Sunday, if he should get through to the final. So that would be
quite a birthday present to win. His style of play, as you say, he's a little guy. I haven't seen too much of him myself. I'm usually on air. But his style of play, as you say, he grinds his opponents down because he runs everything down and gets everything back, and they lose their spirit. That's his style, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, he knows he has to work his opponent around, because he can't, and particularly on a faster surface like grass and hard courts, he's going to find that much more to his advantage. Playing on clay, he'll probably always find that a step too far, because you know, the big bludgeoning big hitters in the end may get the better of him. But you have to be, you know, he's 23, about to be 24. We have a new star, and actually will take the pressure off Jack Draper, who's a brilliant player but is injury prone, but may come back for the US Open hardcourt season. So, you know, all is not lost as far as British men's tennis.
It is amazing. And by the way, people say, oh, he's a rich kid, his dad's a hedge fund billionaire. Well, he's not going to need his dad's money much after this Wimbledon, because already his payday is £900,000 for reaching the semi-final. So he's done pretty well for himself.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously you would expect, if his career continues in the upward trajectory, he's going to be earning absolutely millions, and quite rightly so. But, you know, one summer doesn't make a swallow, but this is certainly an impressive sort of announcement on the scene. People have known he's good, but I think now people are realising he has the potential to be extraordinarily good. And if he got into the top 20, given his physical attributes of being only 5'9", maybe less, you know, that would still be a huge achievement. So for whatever, we need to nurture this one, and hopefully it will go on to greater things. Zverev knows he cannot afford to be half-cocked tomorrow, because if he is, then he might end with earth on his face.
Yeah, what on earth has Arthur Fery got to lose? He can go for it. And he was 114th, ranked 114th in the world coming into Wimbledon. He came in on a wild card, so it was only a last-minute choice to actually play. He got the luck of the draw. And when he got to the quarter-final, he was the first ever Brit to make a Grand Slam quarter-final on a wild card. Now he's the first ever Brit to make the semi-final. The other semi-final will be a very tasty match. That's Djokovic against Sinner. Let's give Arthur perhaps a very generous benefit of the doubt. Let's say he triumphs over Zverev and goes to the final. Which of those two players do you think Arthur would prefer to come up against in the centre court final? Would it be Djokovic or Sinner?
I think he'd be happy with
neither.
Neither, but I think Sinner will do it. Bearing in mind Djokovic had this epic match that went on forever the other day in getting through against Felix Auger-Aliassime, a 5-setter over 5 hours. You know, that will be draining. Remember, he's 39, and Sinner does seem to have the ability to, he's not overly intimidated by Djokovic now. So I think for Djokovic, it would be amazing if he does get through the final. A Djokovic-Fery final, well, that would be extraordinary. But I do think Sinner will get through, and I wish my head will rule my heart, but I think Zverev and Sinner, the number 1 and number 2 seed, will be in the final come Sunday.
Which will be a triumph for the Cedars, won't it? But go Arthur Fery, the hopes and dreams of a nation ride with you. Rupert, great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Rupert Bell, TalkSPORT's commentator there. He's also Talk's royal expert, so he's a man of many talents, wears a lot of hats.